Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Geoff with Fluent American, and we're going to be taking a look at another student's task 2 writing. I'm going to send you a link to that. Actually, before I do that, be sure to join our Facebook group if you're trying to get information or feedback on some of your own writing. Just want some quick help. Be sure to join our Facebook group, which I just started. So that way, if you're using Facebook, you know a lot of the IELTS groups have lots of spam and advertisers and things like that. And so I don't have any of that in our Facebook group, just lots of prompts, opportunities for you to write. And I posted that in the comments. Also, here is a link to our essay for today. Okay, so you can join me in the Google Doc. The Google Doc will also be available after this video is recorded, so that way you can always check and see what we did. My goal for this video is to try to get through this whole task 2, or as much of it as possible, within the next about 20 minutes or so, because I do have to run to a class. So whatever we don't finish, I'm sorry, but at least we'll try to get through as much as we can. Also, if you have any questions as we go through this essay, be sure to put them into the chat box so that way I can see them and try to provide as much information as I can. All right, so I'm in the Google Doc. We're looking at the essay. I have not read this yet, so this is a new experience for everybody. Okay. So in some countries, the average weight of people is increasing and their levels of fitness and health are decreasing. What do you think are the causes? What measures could be taken? Okay, so this is a problem solution essay for those who are paying attention to that. A couple quick things about this. Notice that it says, what do you think are the causes and what measures? Both of these are plural. That means for causes, you probably want to have at least 2. That means for solutions or measures, you also probably want to have at least 2. Okay, I don't want you to lose points for task achievement, and that's a quick way that you can get docked. That way you can lose points. So if you're aiming for a 6 or higher on the IELTS essay, you definitely want to have at least 2 problems and 2 solutions. Okay, let's start off with the introduction. Just zoom in a little bit. All right, several countries can be seen where more people are getting obese, as well as their well-being and health are declining. Okay, so our structure grammatically isn't quite accurate there. Several countries can be seen where more people are getting obese. The as well as makes it seem like you're talking about another adjective. It's like getting obese as well as sick, or obese as well as hungry. Okay, but instead we're following this with another clause or another phrase. So to make that a little bit clearer, instead of using as well as, I would suggest using and. I would also suggest using a comma after obese. So basically you have 2 clauses here. Several countries can be seen where more people are getting obese. Okay. Then their well-being and health are declining. So notice that your subject is changing. In the first clause, your subject is people are getting obese, towards the end of that clause anyways. And then their well-being and health are declining. So your subjects are different in each of these clauses, which means that we really need to have a comma in between them before the end. Okay. This is happening not only because of their sedentary lifestyle, but also due to unhealthy dietary habits. Okay, so we have 2 causes: sedentary lifestyle. Just going to mark this off because this is important. Okay. And unhealthy dietary habits. Great. Okay, so like I mentioned before, we need at least 2 causes, and we have them. Perfect. However, these problems can be resolved by introduction of physical activities. Okay, so then we have 1 solution. Great. And I said nutritious diet, maybe a nutritious diet. Besides that, great. It looks like we're doing what we need to be doing. So we had 2 causes, 2 solutions. So this whole last section here is your thesis statement. This section that says this is happening all the way down to diet. This is all part of your thesis statement. Okay. In general, and this is my own personal preference, I prefer to have a thesis statement that's one sentence as opposed to two. Okay. If you feel like it's getting long, I understand you can write two, but in general, I would suggest having just one. I think this is a case where you could easily make this one sentence. You know, you could take off the period, use a semicolon, however, comma. Okay. Note that this is one of the uses for a semicolon. If you have questions about semicolon, you can send me a message. They can get a little bit complicated, but basically you have two independent clauses. When you have however in between two clauses, you're going to start with a semicolon, however, comma, and that will work well. Okay. Great. Besides that, grammatically, I'm not seeing much else to mention. I think the structure for the thesis is fine. Beyond that, the hook, the very first sentence, I wouldn't say it's generating a whole lot of interest in the reader, but I do think it's at least doing the job of introducing the topic. All right, we're going to move down to the first body paragraph. So firstly, inactive lifestyle is one of the main reasons of weight gain in some people. Maybe instead of inactive, I'll probably add an and because this is new information. And inactive lifestyle is one of the main reasons. Instead of weight gain, I was just for. It's a reason for something. It's not usually a reason of something. For weight gain in some people. Okay, so this is our topic sentence. That very first sentence that starts with firstly, this is our topic sentence. It means that the whole paragraph is going to be talking about this sentence. Okay. If your paragraph introduces another concept, I would suggest adding it into this topic sentence, this first sentence. Okay. Think of this first sentence of a body paragraph as a map. It lets the reader know what to expect in your actual paragraph. Okay. Let's take a look and see. Firstly, inactive lifestyle is one of the main reasons for weight gain in some people. Dependence of people. You don't really need the people. You can just say dependence on automated modern technology is. So augment is a synonym of increase. However, they don't have the same exact meaning. Be careful when you use synonyms because no two words have exactly the same meaning. And I see lots of students that use synonyms and they're like, oh, well, it means the same thing. I can use it here. It's a synonym. It doesn't quite work like that. No two words have exactly the same meaning. They can't always be used in the same situations. This is not a case where augmenting would work. You probably want to just stick with increasing or getting higher or like it becoming more common. Dependence on automated modern technology is becoming more common, which is more convenient and effortless. That have made people lethargic. Okay, so we have a couple of grammar things too. Dependence on automated modern technology. Okay, what's our issue? Our issue is that this clause that says which is more convenient and effortless. This is describing technology. So you have an adjective clause. An adjective clause describes a noun. It has to go after the noun it's describing. So we need to move this convenient and effortless to after the technology. So dependence on automated modern technology, comma, which is more convenient and effortless, comma, is becoming more common. Okay. I would then suggest semicolon that has made people lethargic. Okay. You could even push this pronoun. So we're using that meaning the dependence. I would even suggest even repeating that dependence. Or that trend or something like that. Okay. A lot of students just settle or they stop at just using the pronoun. But I think that what you'll see a lot of native speakers do is they'll push it just a little bit more. Instead of just using that, they'll say like that dependence that we mentioned earlier or that trend that we mentioned earlier has made people more lethargic. Okay. Why is this true? People execute their tasks without much movement that they used to do in the past. Okay, so we're comparing the present to the past. So I can't really use that to make that comparison. People execute their tasks without much. Without much movement. I think we mean without as much movement. So that, and we'll use than. I'm doing all these things to again show that we're using a comparison. You want to make it clear to your reader that you're comparing. People execute their tasks without as much movement. Oh, instead of than, we're using like an as construction. So instead of than, we'll use as. People execute their tasks without as much movement as they used to do. Used to do is already implying the past, so I would take off in past because it's already clear that you're talking about the past when you say used to. In America, for instance, online shopping has been adopted by 80% of the population. The moment your examiner starts seeing statistics like 80%, they're going to be thinking, where is this information coming from? The student doesn't have access to studies or research or data. Where are they getting this number from? Examiners know that you don't have research when you're reading this. They know that 100%. So don't try to make up studies or make up research. That's not necessary. Instead of saying online shopping has been adopted by 80% of the population, you could say like we could just say it's become more popular or has been adopted by more and more, something like that. It doesn't have to be a specific number. Online shopping has been adopted by more and more of the population because it allows. So population is singular, okay? But then we have this plural pronoun with them. Okay, so watch your grammar a little bit. Make sure everything's agreeing. I'd maybe say instead of them, maybe because it allows families, I don't know. Buy grocery, instead of to buy grocery, it'll be groceries. Make that plural. To buy groceries or clothes without leaving their homes or offices. Okay. Let's I just want to take a look and make sure that our logic and argumentation is working so far in this paragraph. So dependence on automated modern technology, which is more convenient and effortless, is becoming more common. That dependence has made people lethargic. People execute their tasks without as much movement as they used to do. In America, for instance, online shopping has been adopted by more and more of the population because it allows families to buy groceries or clothes without leaving their homes or offices. Since you made this comparison earlier between how people lived in the past and how people live now, I would consider adding a little bit more information in that second sentence. So online shopping has been adopted by more and more population because it allows families to buy groceries or clothes without leaving their homes or offices as they did decades ago. So it's clear that you're making a comparison between the past and right now. Another reason is competitive and busy job environment is due to which people prefer junk food as they do not have time. So we have a question about proof. Can we make absolute statements without proof? So we're viewing the more and more of the population as an absolute statement. Let me think about that a minute. My first reaction right now is to say that I don't think your examiner will have a problem with that. More and more is. Sorry, my son is having fun with the blocks. So if you hear that in the background, my apologies. to me, more and more isn't quite an absolute. You know, even if it goes from like one person to two people to three people, that's still more and more. We're not really giving such specific numbers. I think this will work okay. I think the 80% is a lot more problematic. I would try to stay away from saying things like 80%. Okay. If that's not clear, do let me know. Send me a message. Another reason is competitive and busy job environment due to which people prefer junk food as they don't have time to cook for them. Okay, so this is not a complete sentence. Another reason is maybe because we're missing an article. So another reason is that maybe like with more employees in competitive and busy job, you don't usually see job environment. That's a little bit unusual. Maybe like work environment, maybe. Another reason is that with more employees in competitive and busy work environments, due to which people prefer. I'd probably take off the due to which. More employees in competitive and busy work environments, people prefer junk food as they do not have time to cook food for themselves. Okay, so now I think grammatically this is working well. But let's talk a little bit about paragraph structure. So my topic sentence said, an inactive lifestyle is one of the main reasons for weight gain in some people. While I can imply links between work environments and inactive lifestyles, that probably needs to be pushed more. I think that your topic sentence right now needs to be a little bit broadened. We need to include more information about this competitive environment because there's really not enough of a mention in your topic sentence. Okay. Again, your topic sentence is the map. Your examiner is going to look at the topic sentence and think, okay, this is what the whole paragraph is going to focus on. If information is included in the paragraph that is not mentioned in the topic sentence, your reader is going to be, they're going to think, oh, I was misled. I thought we were going to talk about one thing, but we're actually talking about something else. So I would suggest in your topic sentence adding a little bit more information here. So like, for instance, an active lifestyle, even like say something like brought an active lifestyle, comma, which can be brought on by the modern like the needs of modern jobs. Something like that. Something in there in your topic sentence that mentions this fact about jobs and things like that. Okay. Another reason is that with more employees in competitive and busy work environments, people prefer junk foods and they don't have time to cook for themselves. Consequently, okay, I need proof of this. Do I get proof? Consequently, levels of fat and cholesterol is elevating. I see what you're doing. Again, we're kind of running into that synonyms issue. You can use elevate to show an increase, but the way we're doing it now isn't quite working. Consequently, level of fats. If we want to have this use of elevate, we probably need to use it as like a noun. So like maybe like human bodies are taking in elevated levels of fat and cholesterol. Junk foods may comprise of cheese, salt, and impure oil. You don't need a comma after salt. It's called an Oxford comma. I personally suggest it though because it makes things a little bit clearer when you're listing. But again, not necessary to have it after salt. Consequently, in human bodies, taking in elevated fat, taking in means like consuming or eating elevated levels of fat and cholesterol, as junk food is mainly comprised of cheese, salt, and impure oil. Okay. Impure oil. I like the sounds of it, but it is a little bit unusual. You don't usually see that with food, with the word impure. I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to say it sounds to me a little less common. My bigger thing with this sentence is it's not proving the main idea. So your main idea said that another reason for the weight gain is that employees prefer junk food. Okay, so then your job in the details to explain why employees prefer junk food. But instead, I get kind of this note just about oils and things like that about the junk food itself. Prefer is also an interesting word because prefer means that like, oh, like they like it more. What about if you're an employee but you don't actually like the junk food, but you feel like I just don't have the time. I don't know if I would call that a preference. I would say it's kind of almost more of a need. So I don't know if prefer is the exact word that we want. Or if it is the word that we want, then we need to, again, provide proof because I need to be convinced that people are actually preferring this. This is, if they have a choice between one or the other, this is what they want. And right now, I just don't have any argumentation to prove that. Okay. So this detail that I'm getting about the fats and things like that, interesting, but if you want to use it, you probably need a different main idea because that's not quite the argument that I was looking for. I have questions about the main idea still that are unanswered. For these reasons, it can be said that less physical activities. Physical activities is plural, so we probably need fewer. Fewer physical activities and consumption of oily junk food. So fewer activities and fewer consumption, or is it just fewer activities but rising consumption? I'm guessing it's the latter. You probably need more information about that. Add an adjective. Said that fewer physical activities and rising consumption of oily junk food is responsible. Said that these are also plural. Physical activities and rising consumption. 1, 2. So that means that instead of is, we need to use are. Sorry about my son, guys. It's almost bedtime. Healthy and overweight. Increase in the number of unhealthy and overweight people. Okay. I do have to run to another class, guys, so I'm not going to be able to finish this essay, though I think this is a good start. Okay, this will give you an idea of how to analyze the body paragraph and also an introduction. Again, for the intro, I really liked the thesis statement. I thought that it got through all the points that we need. Body paragraphs, in terms of argumentation, I have a couple issues with the second main idea that I think would need to be resolved. A couple of grammar things, a couple of vocabulary things. Watch out for synonyms. Again, no two words have exactly the same meaning. So do watch out for that. But yeah, so because I haven't finished the essay, I can't quite give it a rating. But these are at least some things that you want to be considering. If you have questions, feel free to leave a comment in the video. Again, please join our Facebook group. It's new. We're looking for members. I'm excited to see your essays and questions you have about writing and things like that. And also, of course, subscribe to the channel if you have some time. Thank you guys again for your time. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. You guys take care.